And the final challenge is fit and finish. How do we use free software to create a killer user experience? This is a big challenge. And let me give you an example. These are the top-selling smartphones in the US today. So we've got 8 devices here. And does anybody notice anything about any of these devices? Notice anything? They all look the same, right? I mean, they virtually look identical. They look identical until you turn them on. Software is what is driving the user experience today. The usability, the fit and finish of the software experience is what is critical in a mobile device. And that is where the challenge for Linux, the challenge that MeeGo is primarily addressing, is how do you take free software and create a killer user experience, something that is better than an iPhone, something that is better than anything people have ever used. That is our challenge. Open source projects and products need to be both free and fabulous. And that is really why MeeGo is so important. Why would you want to use MeeGo? Because MeeGo is a second strategic moment for Linux. 10 years ago, IBM invested $1 billion in the Linux server market and said, we are going to take out Solaris, we are going to take over server computing, take over supercomputing. Linux is going to be the winner in the server marketplace. And you know what? It worked. And we won. And today, Intel, Nokia, and others are making that same investment with MeeGo. It is a humongous investment. An investment that everyone can leverage at no cost. MeeGo is a long-term investment in Linux. It represents thousands of full-time developers today. There are over 1,000 full-time developers working on MeeGo. It takes the best efforts of 2 massive organizations and unifies them into a single UI and framework that works across a broad set of key markets: tablets, netbooks, handsets, televisions, automotive. It supports multiple hardware architectures. It has a predictable 6-month release cycle. And because it's hosted at the Linux Foundation, an organization that for a decade has hosted neutral open source projects, it's totally open. Anyone can participate. And support is growing because of that. Telecoms like Orange, Telecom Italia, and others are joining MeeGo every day. Today, the Geneva Alliance, which is the #1 consortium for the auto industry, has also joined. And this is just an incomplete list. MeeGo works across a number of the key market segments, which makes a developer's life much, much easier. If you're writing an application, for example, if you're an iPhone developer, wouldn't it be nice if that same application could run on a car or a television or a handset or a netbook or a tablet? Well, with MeeGo, that is exactly what you get. You get a platform, a core platform that's based on multiple architectures, where all the fundamental R&D drives costs out of the platform. You get the best of 2 of the most compelling Linux efforts in recent years. There's a turnkey app store infrastructure, whether it's Intel's AppUp, the Nokia OV infrastructure, or if you want to create your own app store. The MeeGo release schedule is simple. Every 6 months, we're going to deliver. In fact, the project already is delivering, just like we said we would. On day 1, we released the core OS for MeeGo. It's available today. You can go on our website and download it. It supports multiple architectures. It includes all the build tools, development environments, all the core components you need to create a device. In May, just like we said we were going to do, we released the netbook framework and reference implementation, and it was very well received at Computex. People like the performance, people like the UI. It is a great experience that people are now productizing and you'll see in the market soon. A couple of weeks ago, just a few weeks ago, we released the first handset stack and reference UI on the Migo.com website. Again, supports multiple architectures, includes a wide variety of features that people can use to productize immediately. It's got a great new user interface, and this is just the beginning. In fact, we've got some live demos up here of the handset user experience. It supports multitasking, it supports telephony, it has a great web runtime. We also have delivered a prototype of the tablet UI. In fact, I've got it right here. So for those of you who would like to see it, you can either see it here or out in the hall. It's been very well received, and we're only at the tip of the iceberg in the kind of products that people will be able to create with this code. And the important thing is that not only are we delivering code, but that code is going to be around for a long time. Because Migo is made up of open source projects that exist today that are being worked on by tens of thousands of developers. The Linux kernel, Ophono, GStreamer, Conman, Qt. These are well-established open source development efforts. Because we're participating in those projects, you can be sure that this technology is going to be around for decades. It's easy to work with Migo. The way it works is the project itself, who anyone can participate in, takes upstream projects, takes some Migo-specific projects, integrates it into a reference platform across the various market segments, whether it's netbook or handset or automotive. We then work with vendors who create products based on Migo. They can create their own app stores. They can create their own distinct experience and sell those as products in the marketplace. Again, we are in the first 5 minutes of the Migo game. This is the effort of 1,000 developers working every day to deliver. So why is Migo different from any other mobile or embedded Linux effort? Why should you care about Migo? Well, as I've already said, this is a humongous strategic investment for Nokia and Intel. And they're not going to stop. Every 6 months, like clockwork, people like Mark Scarpness and his team are going to produce a set of killer code that you can utilize for free immediately. You know, a lot of people don't know this about Intel and Nokia, but most of the core Linux development, whether it's in the X system, whether it's in the C tool chain, whether it's in the kernel, actually happens and is done by Intel and Nokia employees. They have the largest Linux development teams anywhere in the world. Most of the key maintainers of many of the projects work at both of these companies full-time on these upstream projects. So it is an unparalleled talent pool that is producing this code. It is the only effort that works across multiple device categories, TV, netbook, automotive, etc. It supports multiple architectures, and most importantly, it's not controlled by any single vendor. It's a project that is housed at a nonprofit organization, the Linux Foundation, whose only job, my job, is to grow the adoption of Linux in open source. I don't take sides. I don't care who wins, as long as it's not Microsoft and as long as it is Linux. And so we'd like you to join us. I think this is a tremendous opportunity. I think that you have only seen the very beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg for just what the Migo project can deliver. We launched the initiative in February. It's now July, and we already have it working on handsets, on tablets, on netbooks. You can see it all outside or right here. And I hope that many of you in this room start participating in the project, because it's in your business interest to do so. So I'd like to thank all of you for listening to me today. And most importantly, I'd like you all to stick around to hear from our panel of developers and experts to really get the details of how specifically you can participate in the MeeGo project. Thank you very much.